Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to or back to my channel. My name is Angel. It's been a wee while, hasn't it? I think it has. It feels like it. But I'm back. I'm here. I'm doing it. I'm living the dream. If you haven't been here before, strap yourself in. It could be a bumpy ride. If you've been here before, still strap yourself in because you know it's going to be a bumpy ride, right? So one of the last videos I put out was my new decks in my collection, hashtag last 10 decks. That was a VR to Jonathan Daly. And, I was sitting, thinking about the whole newest decks, my last 10 decks malarkey, which suddenly got me thinking to my first 10 decks and how my tastes have possibly changed from the start of my journey to now. So that's what we're doing today. I'm showing you my first 10 decks. Disclaimer, I think these are my first 10 decks. I can't remember. My memory is terrible. So I've gone back in my old journals, looked at the first decks that I have written about, and hopefully I'm not leading you astray. So the first deck I'm going to start with, which I don't think is going to be a surprise to anybody, this was the first deck I purchased. This is the basic Rider-Waite. That's going to possibly offend people that love the Rider-Waite Smith. But this was the one with the thick lines, which makes the images a bit muddy, I think. This I use as a, study deck, still, now, today. I don't think I've ever read with it at all, actually, to be honest. You've seen the Rider-Waite Smith, you maybe even have it. This was the first deck I purchased when I first started getting interested in tarot. I did some research. And this was the most recommended deck for newbies. So, I was a good girl when I purchased the Rider-Waite Smith because I wanted to do things right. And I remember when I got this home and I unpacked it, it was like a total foreign language. I felt so overwhelmed by all the images, and I was thinking, how am I ever going to learn all these cards and everything that's in these cards? It just felt like a mammoth task almost, which was totally the wrong way to look at things. So I remember packing it, back up into the box and thinking, what am I going to do about this? Because the colours don't particularly resonate for me. I love yellow, but this is just like, wow. And so I think then, or possibly at the same time as I purchased the Rider-Waite Smith, I purchased the Ethereal Visions Tarot. I don't have that in my collection anymore because I rehomed it. I didn't get along with that one at all. It was the colours were too, or the cards maybe too light. The images were too light, maybe too pastel-y or something. I couldn't put my finger on it, but that is no more. That is out of my collection. I gave that to my to one of my work colleagues. One of my colleagues, yeah. Then I purchased the Lightseers Tarot. I've edged mine in this green colour, and this deck resonated with me much, much more. It felt really familiar to me because these are the kind of people that, I would see in my everyday life. I'm obviously not this person with a surfboard. I don't tend to walk past people with surfboards in their hands. But I think you catch my drift. This felt more familiar to me, and I don't want to... Maybe relevant is the wrong word. It felt more relevant because it's set in the modern day, whereas the Rider-Waite Smith felt unfamiliar, I think I want to say. So yeah, I use this one a lot. I really loved it. I still love it. And this is the one I pretty much learned tarot on. I'm going to say that I don't particularly use the Lightseers Tarot as much anymore. I backed the Folding Path Tarot on Kickstarter, and since receiving that deck, that's kind of taken the place of my Lightseers Tarot. But I would never ever get rid of this deck. I really love it. I love how colourful it is. I love the images. This is beautiful. And I'm sure one day I will be called to work this one again. So it's taking a bit of a rest, although it's not in order. And I'm going to say, which I'm sure you've seen or heard if you've seen any of my other videos, that I always put my decks back into order if they're not in rotation, because I feel it resets the deck. It gives the deck a holiday. Or I'm going to say it. I feel it resets the deck, the energy of the deck. So yes, that was the Lightseers Tarot. Then most definitely around the same time, I purchased the Starseed Tarot. The Starseed Oracle, sorry. And I'm going to cheat and class this as one deck because I'm a cheeky monkey like that. And, why not? And this is the Work Your Light Oracle cards. These are both by Rebecca Campbell, Danielle Noel. Sip of coffee. Yummy scrummy in my tummy. What was I saying? Can't remember. So a flick through. Why not? I love the colours in this deck. I really like the art style. And I think, well, I'm going to start by saying that I love turquoise, purple and pink. I absolutely adore it. And this is a bit of a by the by and a bit of a tangent, but I'm going to tell the story anyway. When I was together with my my ex-partner, we lived together for 7 years, and I was never allowed to purchase anything for our apartment with colour. So, and no offence if this is your colour choices, the apartment was in tones of beige, grey and black. I don't know about you, but I need colour in my life. I need this colour in my life. So when I left my partner and I moved into my own apartment, I love this, I decorated the whole apartment with turquoise, pink and purple. And so I was being rebellious. So yeah, it's a complete tangent, and I'm going to say actually that my bedroom is still in those colours because I love that colour combination. I think it's beautiful. I haven't used these for quite a while. I used the heck out of them when I first had them at the start of my journey, and I know some people have taken away these keywords and titles and like printed their own on them. But I really enjoy these cards, and this obviously sits in like a cosmic energy for me, and I tend to use my cosmic decks in the darker half of the year, so November, December, January almost. So no doubt they'll come out again, but I do like them, and I edged this one in a metallic pink colour, which I think is absolutely gorgeous, and I edged this one in a metallic blue. So yeah, cheated. I called them one deck, but they weren't. There were two. But hey ho. Don't be calling the tarot police on me. Okay, the next deck was the Starseed Tarot. Obviously still at the beginning of my journey when I purchased this deck. I didn't edge mine, that was bizarre. And I use this every day. It was on my self-love altar, and I use this every day as a, what's the word? A daily draw. And I didn't really, I wouldn't say I got along with this one so well. I do love this card. And I think that was because obviously I was a newbie. And also I didn't find the guidebook particularly helpful. I do like it that it's got several variations of the Lover's card. I think that was really good. I hope you can see these now. And suddenly how busy do these look against the cloth? But hey ho, we'll roll with it. Yeah, I didn't find the guidebook particularly helpful as a newbie, and I'm going to give you a bit of an insight into the guidebook. I wouldn't recommend this deck for a beginner personally. Now in hindsight, let's just take the Temperance card, which was good because I never remember what the Temperance card means, which is crazy. But it just never sticks in my brain. That card eludes me all the time. So Temperance, here we go. So we've got a black and white, bit bigger than a thumbnail picture, which is fine, I don't mind that. And you've got the number, the title of the card, the upright and the reversal. So I'm just going to give you the reading or the meaning of the upright version. Temperance signifies self-discipline and strength of character. As death suggests an ever-changing world, temperance represents the certainty the most essential parts of ourself will remain. Despite the challenges and pain that often accompany change and growth, you may find that your strong personal and interpersonal foundations help keep you grounded. Now, as a newbie, I didn't find that kind of thing in the guidebook very helpful. I would have liked to have had maybe keywords, or maybe like a key phrase as well, or I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't help. And, you know, obviously doing a daily draw helped me learn the tarot, but I wouldn't say this deck specifically helped me with that because I don't think it's a very good a beginner deck. Anyway, that was the Starseed Tarot. Where are we going next? We're going to another tarot, and that would be this one. This was the Ostara Tarot. Beautiful backs. It's got silver edging. This again was also on my self-love altar, and thinking back to it now, the reason it was on my self-love altar was because that was the only space that at the beginning of my practice I was doing tarot on. I purchased this space that I'm sitting at now a little bit later on in my journey. So this tarot deck was illustrated by 4 different people, I want to say, if memory serves correctly. It was quite a wee while ago since I used it, and you can definitely see that as you look through the images of these cards. There are quite a few of the artists' work that I really like in this deck, and then there's like one, I think there's maybe one that I don't particularly enjoy, because I find it, for my eyes, I like this kind of thing, I find it maybe muddy, is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. For the same again, I used it for my daily draws to help me learn tarot. So I pulled a card every day. I was doing the same with the Star Spinner Tarot as well. So I did use it a lot, this deck. But then it kind of, you know, got put back into order, but got put away. And since then, I haven't really used it since then. So this one was actually, I actually filmed a video, which I never posted, called Decks on the Chopping Block, and this deck was one of those decks. Yeah, as well as a couple of others, like for instance the what's that called? The Listeria Tarot was on the chopping block. The Forest of Enchantment was on the chopping block, and even the Kim Krantz, oh, what was it called? The Wild Unknown, obviously, was also on the chopping block, as well as a couple of others. And that I'm going to say that, and I've mentioned this before in other videos, that I usually am of the thought of that I have been drawn to purchase these decks, and even if I don't initially work them straight away when they first come into my collection, because I've been drawn to buy them, I will then be drawn to work with them. But because this one had been sitting on my tarot shelf and had been worked with, and I didn't feel drawn to it to work with it, you know, anymore, I felt maybe it was time to let this one go. But that taught me, not taught me, sorry, backing up a little bit, the Wild Unknown and the Listeria Tarot, I suddenly felt drawn to use both of those in 2 different new practices that I started. And that taught me that not to be so fast to read home decks or to resell decks, because you never know when, you know, you might get a bee in your bonnet and start a different practice, and that those decks that have been sitting there dormant for quite a while suddenly, you know, spring back into life and come to see the light of day. So that reminded me of that, which I'd kind of forgotten when I did that video. So I'm glad that, you know, I'm just going to be a bit patient, and you know, this is just going to sit on my shelf until one day when I feel ready to work with it again. Sip of coffee? Yes, please. Hope you've got a beverage. Slurping at my coffee. Sorry, I do apologise. Hope that didn't come out on camera. Okay, so then I decided to go back to the Waite Smith imagery, but I wanted a bit of a more of a modern twist to it. So I purchased the Modern Witch Tarot. Again, this is back in order because it's out of rotation. I use this like, you know, nobody's business when I first purchased it. Love this card. Yeah, so much so that I actually purchased its own wooden box, I'll have you know. So this one sat on my my altar in its own wooden box, and I used it, you know, every single day for months. I really enjoyed this deck. Obviously the cardstock is quite thick, which is a complaint that, you know, you hear about quite often. I just overhand shuffle this, so I didn't find it a problem, but I appreciate that other people might think the cardstock isn't very good. I still really enjoy this deck, although it's the same again. You know, it just one day didn't come out of its box again, and so it's, you know, I put it back into order, put it back into its original packaging, and now it's sitting back on my shelf. Back on my tarot shelf. But I would never get rid of this deck because I love it. I think it's gorgeous. I really love the colouring, and obviously I love it that it, you know, it's a total Waite Smith clone. So for me, this just, it floats my boat. It lights my candle. What more can I say? It's gorgeous, and you know, who doesn't like a bit of turquoise? I love me some turquoise. That was that one. Then the next one was the 8 Coins Tattoo Tarot. These are the backs. I've edged mine in burnt orange, which I think is lovely. Now these ones, when I first purchased them, oh, they should be in order, but they're not. When I first purchased these, they had like white borders around the whole card, which I chopped off. Sorry, slurp of coffee again. Excuse me. Which I think, you know, really works. I'm not sure I would do that again if I purchased the deck again. I think I might keep the actual what's the word? The borders on. Love the artwork of this deck. I used it a lot, and I would even say, love this. I would even say that what's I saying? Oh yes, this, I would say that this deck made me realise that I could read the cards intuitively. Yeah, I think it's gorgeous. I love this. And this one hasn't been out either for a long while. And you know, when I go through my tarot shelf, and you know, I tend to, you know, look at my tarot shelf at the end of the month to kind of gauge and think about what I might fancy pulling forward for the next month. I look at this one quite often and I think, oh, I really enjoy that, or I should get it back out again. And then something else catches my fancy and I, you know, go in a completely different direction with my deck choices for the month. But I'm looking at this now and I'm thinking, I think I might need to get this out again. This might need to come out and see the light of day because it's gorgeous. I really, really like it. So I don't know, this could be see the light of day very soon. I mean, look at this. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Yeah, watch this space. This could well be coming up in my deck choices. I love this card. Oh, I love it. It's gorgeous. Who am I kidding? This is going to be coming out again very, very soon. Okay, we're moving along to a, what's it called? An oracle. This is the Daily Crystal Inspiration Oracle. I was getting really into crystals, so I decided to purchase a deck, an oracle deck. These are the backs, which I think are beautiful. These are the fronts, obviously. Now, I really like it. There's a lot of white space around the actual crystal, and I like it that it almost looks like a crystal sitting on the card. I think that's really cool. Then you've got the name of the crystal and even like a key phrase. So we've got live in the now. That was Unakite, Arakanite. Release your emotional baggage. Stay positive. Be the bigger person. Go with the flow. Get back into balance. Be kind to yourself. So, you know, I've also used this deck for spell work right at the beginning of my practice when I didn't have so many crystals. So if I didn't have a crystal that I wanted to use, I would rummage through this deck, pull out the crystal and use that in my spell work. So, you know, it had like a double usage. Oh, do you love me some smoky quartz? I'm totally feeling drawn to smoky quartz this month, hence the reason that the smoky quartz crystals are forward. I'm going to just show you the guidebook, and this is a good excuse to read the smoky quartz insert here. This is quite a dinky guidebook, but I think this is really, really good, a well-written guidebook, I have to say. Sorry, just let me look for smoky quartz so I can read this to you. Okay, so in the guidebook, we've got the name of the crystal. There are no pictures, unfortunately, but that's fine. I tend to hold my card like this when I'm reading the entry in the guidebook. Then you've got the key phrase, and you've got a bit of a message. And then, which I think is really good, you've got core questions, which you could use as journal prompts, or maybe a start of a tarot spread almost. So the core questions read, what experience from the past do you dwell on? How would you act and feel in the present without without the weight of those emotions? And then you've even got crystal action, affirm, my power is in the present, I leave the past in the past. Today, every time a storyline from the past comes up, recite your mantra. I really like that. I really, really like that. And I find this deck really versatile. You know, it goes with any of my other tarot decks, my other oracle decks. It's good as a like rounding off a reading. I've even used it to choose the crystal I'm going to use for the day or for the month. I don't do that so much anymore because I I tend to find that I get, I choose my crystals intuitively. And nowadays, or recently, I've had this deck beside my bed, and I pull a card at the end of the evening, just as I'm going to go to bed, just as a, you know, a message, which I really enjoy. So yeah, so that's that one. I think we've got one more, if I counted correctly. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm missing a deck. Well, that was an nincompooperi. Why have I done that? Oh, lordy lord, now I'm going to have to go root and find another deck. That's a bit crazy. Now, I think this was my first indie deck. And I think I've done another video where I said that maybe the Gentle Tarot was my first indie deck. But when I'm thinking back, I believe this was my first indie deck. This is the Modern Love Tarot by Ethany. They're gilded in gold. And thinking back, this was quite a strange choice for me to purchase this deck as my first indie deck, because, you know, I'm not into the whole lovey-dovey malarkey. I don't read for anybody else. I don't do love readings. And yet this was my first indie deck. That was bizarre. Anyway, I'm just going to show you the guidebook quickly before I show you the cards, which is, you're possibly clamouring to see the cards, but I'm going to show you anyway quickly. This is a fantastic guidebook. Look how chunky this monkey is. So we'll take the Ace of Cups, for instance. You've got a full colour picture. You've got the name of the card. You've got a few keywords, which I really enjoy. And then you've even got a general love meaning. If you're single and loving it. If you're ready for dating. If you're in a committed relationship. If you're in a struggling relationship. And even if you've come to the end of your relationship. And that's for every single card. So, you know, I think that's really, really helpful. Not that I've ever used the, you know, these struggling or at the end or committed, because I'm, you know, that's never happened. And I don't think it will. Hold the press. Oh, wait, where's the Fool gone? What's this all about? What's going on? Here he is. Or they are. Yeah, love this. Love it, love it, love it. What was I going to say? I'm going to show you the cards, obviously. Sorry, I've gone quiet. I'm just wondering why they're out of order, but I know why they're out of order. It's because I used it for a different video once upon a time. So I really, really enjoy the art style. Love this. I'm going to show you a couple of my favourite cards if I can find them. I really like this one. I love the takes on some of these cards, and I'm going to show you. Oh, here we go. This is an excellent example. This was one of the cards that I saw, which kind of like drew my attention to this deck. I love this perspective that you're this person taking this other person's hand that's in front of you. That happens a couple of times throughout these cards. I love this Lover's card. Love me some snake energy. Well, that to me looks a bit like a dragon. But hey-ho. Love this. Gorgeous. So yeah, when I first purchased this one, this was, you know, used so often. I love this Tower card. I love how dark it is, how moody it is, and I love that this person is just totally walking away. They're just letting it burn. I love that. Let it burn. Let it burn to the ground. Love this. This is gorgeous as well. This totally reminds me of the bloke from Mamma Mia. It could just be me. Nudity. Apologies. I'll put a warning sign up. This totally reminds me of Amy Winehouse. I love this card. That embodies the Three of Cups for me. I love that. So yeah, so my first indie deck, I think, and one of my first 10 decks. Should I grab another deck? Maybe I should. What? Wait, please hold. Okay, are you still there? I hope so. Right, I dashed off, double checked my first journal, and I think I've come upon the next deck that was purchased. That would be another Oracle deck. This was a very popular deck for me when I first purchased it. This was the Listeria Witches. Pop my teeth back in. The Literary Witches Oracle. Do you get that sometimes, that your brain is working faster than your mouth can work and your words come out a bit muddled? That happens to me very often. These are the backs. Mine's a bit bowed, but that's fine. Yeah. These cards are beautiful. I think this is what you call linen finish, but don't quote me on that because, you know, I'm terrible at cardstock. This comes in two different suits, I'm going to say, or maybe categories, if I could say that. So you've got, wait, let me just lead you straight. It was such a long time ago that I used this deck. Yeah, so you've got your authors almost, the witches, and then you've even got the witches' materials. Which, thinking about it now, this kind of reminds me, but not really, of a compendium of witches. That's interesting. That's also divided into two categories. You've got your witches, or the voices, and, you know, your whispers. Maybe it's vice versa. Yeah, either way. Anyway, let's show you some cards. Let's stop babbling and get on with it. I did really use this a lot when I first got it. I haven't used it so much recently, but I think that's just because I've had such an influx of cards that have come into my collection. You know, that, you know, these kind of hidden gems, they just get, you know, they kind of get left on the shelf. But, you know, I've got plenty of time to use the decks. I haven't so far felt overwhelmed with the amount of decks that I have. And I'm going to say I don't know how many decks I have because I don't want to count them, because then I would feel stressed. So, you know, I do only read for myself, but I do take care of my decks, and, you know, they are rotated. I try to rotate my decks every month and, you know, use different decks. So, you know, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't have children, I don't have a car. So this is my pleasure, you know, using tarot and oracle, and collecting oracle and tarot as well. Why did I say that? Why did I go into that? Justifying myself. I don't need to justify myself to anybody. Yeah, so that's that. This is a great deck, I feel, as well, to kind of open your, what's the word? Open your horizons, I'm going to say, on authors. I remember that when I was using this this deck, I was, you know, researching the author that came up for me, and I even purchased the bigger book, which unfortunately is packed away. Oh yeah, because I'm moving. For you guys and girls that have seen my previous video, I'm moving. The apartment came through for me. I'm going to even say that I did a spell. I did some spell work around getting the apartment. If you watch my previous video, my May reflections, you'll know that I had been looking at apartments because I wanted to move, and I was second in the queue for an apartment, and the first person said, no thank you, I don't want to move into that apartment, and I am now moving into that apartment. So yes, lots of my decks and lots of my books are now packed, because obviously I'm getting ready to, you know, move along and make a change. What was my point? Oh yeah, so my point is I can't show you the book because that's packed away. Anyway, yeah, that was the last, that was number 10, I hope. Fingers crossed. If I've counted incorrectly, I apologise. Don't call the terror police on me. What say you? I'm going to hand the baton over to you. I would love to know, what was your first deck you purchased? And even what was your second deck? Because if you're like me and you purchased the Waite Smith initially, I'd love to know what your second deck was. I use this now as a study deck, which I really like. I love the colours now. I've totally, you know, grown fond of this deck, and I can't even believe when I first looked at it, I was thinking, no, it's not for me. I look at it now and I'm like, what were you thinking, you nincompoop? So I use this for my deck and walk, and generally as a study deck. I really enjoy it. I would never, you know, never move this along. So yeah, please tell me what your first and your second deck were, if you'd like to. Please let me know if you still have your first and second decks. Please let me know, if you want to, in the comment section, what your last deck was that you purchased. I'd like to know, you know, if you feel that your taste has maybe changed from the first decks that you purchased in your collection. Let me know. I'd love to know. It's really interesting to you know, get other people's thoughts and feelings and experiences, and, you know, have a bit of a chat in the comment section. It's always nice to catch up with you. Yeah, apart from that, I'm just going to wish you a lovely morning, afternoon or evening wherever you are in the world. Take care, have a lovely day, and hope to see you next time. Toodaloo!